for saying that the former president, Donald Trump, should not be sent to prison. Really? Well, they stated that the star witness of the prosecution is a man who has proven time and time again that he is in fact a liar. Judge Juan Merchan found this to be inappropriate, and he told off Donald Trump's lawyer, Todd Blanche, and said that an attorney like him should know what he's saying in the courtroom. Now, I'm gonna let you guys hear the exact, the basic idea of what Blanche said, but it's important that I note that what Merchan said after this is really what the game changer was. All right. Now, he said that the jury should disregard Todd Blanche's statements about not sending Donald Trump to prison. Keep in mind, Todd Blanche is Donald Trump's lead counsel. It is Donald Trump's lead attorney on this hush money trial against DA Alvin Bragg. This is because he's the one who will ultimately decide who's going to, basically Donald Trump's sentencing will be decided by the judge. He doesn't want the jury thinking about that. But my question is doesn't this sound a little bit weird? The Judge Juan Merchan, does not want the jury to hear traditional statements, traditional arguments from Donald Trump's defense attorney. I think that this is a little bit weird. Now, what was the court proceedings for if Judge Merchan was the one to decide it at the very end? I thought it was the jury's decision. And Merchan, he only made these remarks against Todd Blanche after the prosecution raised an issue with his prison comment. So it's as if the prosecution is guiding the judge. What is wrong with this picture here, guys? Now, some legal and political analysts are saying that the truth isn't what they're after here. In fact, the goal here is to send Donald Trump to prison. If you guys have seen my previous live yesterday, I was explaining how the Secret Service is already making preparation and plans for Donald Trump to go to prison just in case. So now I have a lot more to share with you guys, including what the judge actually said later in this video. But all I ask is that you guys take a second, hit the like button for the video. Totally appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for subscribing and for supporting the channel. You guys are amazing. But yeah, again, the goal here for these guys is to send Trump to prison, to derail his presidential campaign for the year, and to find him guilty for the prosecution, for the prosecution to paint him as this horrible person. Yeah. Now, Donald Trump's family, they don't feel the same as some of them. Actually, this was a very unusual situation. Donald Trump's family actually showed up in court, and they were all seen by the jury, believe it or not. Take a listen.
It's notable to see the largest contingency of Trump children showing up in the courtroom to support their father, along with some of their spouses as well. That's taking place inside as these closing arguments, the defense's first, continues. Meantime, outside, you have pro-Trump supporters with their flags. They're gathered by the dozens, as well as actor Robert De Niro, who spoke as part of a Biden-Harris campaign press event. He was here along with other Biden supporters saying that Donald Trump poses a threat to American democracy. So immediately in this space where I'm standing now, you see the two sides and how people are really riled up about these 34 felony counts against the former president. How is the defense trying to discredit Michael Cohen, one of the star witnesses, who was really the glue between the repayments in 2017 and the initial so-called hush money payment to Stormy Daniels? They're saying he cannot be trusted. Todd Blanche coming out of the gate this morning, making sure to make eye contact with the jury as he puts together a narrative he says discredits the government's entire case. Said, quote, he, speaking of Cohen, took an oath. He swore to tell the truth and to tell you, speaking to the jury, a number of things on that witness stand that were lies, pure and simple. And Blanche pulling out transcripts where Cohen said that there was no retainer agreement between himself and Trump. Blanche saying that's absolutely false. That's a lie, because there was a verbal agreement for Cohen to provide legal services to Trump, and that's why those 34 felony counts, which are based on these 11 checks and 11 invoices and voucher entries, are accurate in saying that Cohen is owed $35,000 a month for those retainer agreements. And he went on to say that Cohen admitted to stealing money from Donald Trump. The math, though, didn't add up as far as how much he says he stole and why. And so therefore, the glue to the prosecution's case is weak. And in Blanche's opinion, that's why Donald Trump should be found not guilty of these crimes. So the defense's closing arguments continue early.
Wow. So really quick, before we get any deeper into the situation, why is Robert De Niro campaigning for Biden? Like, we all know he's a celebrity, possibly a multimillionaire, but I'm not sure if he's now getting into politics. Also, like, do you even like value Robert De Niro's opinion? Like, who is this guy? And is Donald Trump really a threat to democracy, guys? According to Robert De Niro, he is. I can't get on board with that personally. I think that, you know, Robert De Niro was a paid actor. Who he's already an actor, but he was paid to show up to read this poorly written script in front of the court, or in front of very, very close by Donald Trump's hush money trial courthouse. And I don't think people are buying it. I mean, are you guys buying it? Maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm off a little bit, but I think he's full of crap. Yeah, not very convincing at all. But we all know that, you know, Robert De Niro, he's a celebrity, he's an actor, he's a fake, he gets paid to be fake. And then he's got the nerve to call out, you know, basically Donald Trump being a clown. I mean, he indirectly called Donald Trump a clown. I think he's the biggest clown out there, if you ask me. Anyway, what do you guys think? But yeah, so now some legal experts are calling out Todd Blanche for his statements. Now, I gotta give credit to CBS News for giving what I believe to be a very unbiased summation of what has taken place in the courtroom just now. So, big ups to CBS on that one. I didn't take in a whole lot of you know, super left propaganda in that summation. So really, really impressed on that one, by the way. Anyway, but experts are calling out Todd Blanche for his statements as a lead attorney for Donald Trump, essentially saying that it's a no-no to comment to a jury about potential criminal penalties, adding that the juries are never instructed to have any sympathy for a defendant. And this is where Mershon basically threw a fit after what Todd Blanche had said to the jury. And this is what a lot of folks, a lot of folks think that this judge is just completely outrageous in how he's handling everything. But this is where Mershon literally threw a fit and just showed pure, unadulterated anger toward Donald Trump's attorney. But here's the thing. What's really weird here is that the defense, they made their argument before the prosecution. Now, I want you guys to understand, normally in cases like these, you actually have the defense team making their final arguments at the end, right? So this is something that Donald Trump blasted on Truth Social and said that this is a major advantage for the prosecution. It's totally unfair, and that this entire thing is a witch hunt. Now, keep in mind, guys, think about this, right? You've had this trial going on for weeks now, for a couple of months. And when you have your final closing arguments, at the end of the day, the goal, the true reason for having a trial is to find out the truth, right? Did the defendant actually commit the crimes that are being alleged, right? And typically, in 9 times out of 10 cases, the prosecution makes their closing argument, and then it's followed by the defense making their closing argument, right? Whoever speaks last essentially has an advantage, because their words will be the last thing that the jury hears. And so for Donald Trump's defense to have to go first, that means that the last thing that the jury would hear is the prosecution's arguments. And so that will stick with them more than Donald Trump's team. So Merchan, the judge over this whole hush money case, this has been the most lopsided, imbalanced, biased judge I have ever observed, especially in a high profile case. I mean, he's literally given every advantage to the prosecution and every disadvantage to the defense. It's absolutely unbelievable here. I mean, and it's like this guy, he shoots down everything that the defense for Donald Trump has brought up. Evidence. No, you can't present this evidence. You know, witnesses, testimony. Oh, no, you can't bring that witness to the stand. Oh, no, we don't want to hear this testimony. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. This is blatant election engineering here. Okay, guys? Now, this is going back to, the prosecution being the last to deliver their closing arguments to the jury. This was something that Donald Trump, again, he blasted this on Truth Social, saying that this is a major advantage given to the prosecution. It's totally unfair. This whole thing's a witch hunt. But again, get this, many experts are agreeing with Donald Trump, especially as the words of the prosecutions will be the last words heard by the jury in this case. Carol Lieberman, she's a forensic psychologist. Excuse me, I don't want to downgrade her. She's a forensic psychiatrist based in New York. And she said that Judge Juan Merchan is basically sealing the deal for an appeal because of his outrage toward Donald Trump, toward Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's attorney. She says that the jury is probably aware of the fact that Donald Trump could go to jail, especially since this set of jurors was not sequestered and did not have to vote unanimously to convict Donald Trump. Now, this is another thing that the judge created as another disadvantage for Donald Trump, that there does not need to be a unanimous decision from the jury to convict Donald Trump. This is a very unusual set of circumstances. Again, this judge is clearly trying to tip the scales. He's literally putting his hand on the scale to make the side that he wants to win. Now, there are some experts who believe that it is possible that the prosecution violated the Constitution. Wouldn't be a shock to me, honestly. Would it shock you that the prosecution violated the Constitution at all? So the trial is all but over, but we have yet to hear what the second crime is. We have closing arguments being delivered, and we don't even know what the second crime is. The second crime is what allegedly allows DA Alvin Bragg to upgrade this misdemeanor, which had exceeded the statutes of limitations, to make it a felony, which is the only reason why he's even able to present this case today. And yet we don't know what the crime is that he used to elevate this to a felony. Here we are with closing arguments. Unbelievable here, guys, because the first crime that Alvin Bragg has told us about was the bookkeeping entry issue. That in and of itself was a misdemeanor. But as DA Alvin Bragg has assured us, there's a second crime, right? So here we have the credits going up, the movie's over, and we still don't even know. The movie's almost over, and we still don't know what the second crime is. The one that was hidden and committed behind the initial bookkeeping business. Now, this is what would have made it a felony. And yes, of course, Donald Trump could go to jail for a few years if that happens. But we have no clue as to what that crime is. We have no clue. And the prosecution is saying that the law doesn't require them to do this. The law does not require the prosecution to inform anyone of this. I mean, can you believe this, guys? The prosecution also said that they've seen a mountain of evidence against the former president, proving that the falsified business records, proving that he falsified the business records in order to cover up an embarrassing affair. But they also tried to boost Michael Cohen's credibility to the jury, and he spent almost 5 hours trying to prove Donald Trump should be found guilty. Now, I don't know how you can boost up, Michael Cohen's credibility. As far as I'm concerned, that has been shot a long time ago, right? The guy's a liar. Even the prosecution admitted it, but said that he had to lie for Trump when he was employed under him. But did you notice just how free and loose Michael Cohen was compared to the former president? I mean, Michael Cohen has basically been allowed to take advantage of Donald Trump's case financially. He's going on TikTok live streams, accepting money from people who don't like Trump. I mean, and all that time, he's talking about the case and everyone around it. And what did Judge Juan Merchan do? He practically did nothing. I mean, heck, this guy even sold merch online. He's selling T-shirts showing Donald Trump behind bars. He's selling mugs that reads, send him to the big house, not the White House. And through all of that, Judge Juan Merchan decided to put a gag order not on Michael Cohen, but on Donald Trump. Now, I don't know if Juan Merchan has forgotten how the gag orders work. Apparently he has. But the gag orders are intended to protect the defendant, not to protect the prosecution. So then you would never put a gag order on the defendant if that's the case. But of course, here is yet another anomaly that shows just exactly how biased this judge and this whole case is. So, now there's another smoking gun that's coming out regarding with regards to Merchan and his daughter. Top officials from the Biden administration and Democrats themselves, they're sending money to their personal address. Come on, guys. Which already sounds fishy, but when you connect the dots, it's becoming even worse. I mean, many people feel as if President Biden already knows the verdict. He's already said that he's going to comment on this thing live from the Oval Office to prove that this is not a political speech or something like that. I forget how he said it. But doesn't this sound a little suspect to you? Just a little sus? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe just a tad suspicious that things are actually happening behind the scenes. But of course, I can't say for certain. But look at the optics, guys. Look at the optics. Very sus. I'm what you can tell you. Yeah. Quiet as is kept. This dude. I should have known that was Kevin. I'm like, hold on. Only one person in the world makes that statement. But yeah, I can't be 100% certain. However, a lot of analysts, they're very wary about what the president's going to end up saying after the verdict is announced. And a lot of people are saying that the president already knows what the verdict is. But, what do y'all think about this? Do you really think that this is going to be a fair verdict? I mean, we haven't had a fair trial since day one. So should we expect Donald Trump to run for president while he's in prison? Is that what we should expect? I mean, clearly the Secret Service is making preparations. As I said, I released a video yesterday. You can check it out. I shared some information about the Secret Service making preparations for Donald Trump to go to jail. Rikers Island. Yeah. So if you guys want more information on what the Secret Service is doing in preparation for Donald Trump's jail sentence, definitely check out the live just before this one. I went into that one in detail. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. By the way, if you haven't already, do your boy a favor, hit the like button for the video. I totally appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. And I also want to thank you so much for sharing this video with like-minded truth seekers out there. You guys are absolutely amazing. Let's see. CJ says he loses, he wins 2024. Pastor Annie Mant says, do they want a civil war or a revolution? Oh, man. I mean, we have seen a number of protests with, related to pro-Palestinian, pro-Israeli, pro anti-Hamas rallies lately quite a bit in New York. So I wouldn't put it past people to go so far as to, who knows what will happen in the future. What's going on, Mighty R1? Shout out to England in the house. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Man. Let's see. Kevin and Michelle says Donald Trump just farted in the courtroom and nobody laughed. Oh man. Oh God. George George Henry Jr. says, Ron, it sounds super sus. I think it's absolutely suspect. I mean, yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. I totally appreciate you guys. And I'll see you guys on the next